UFC 300 recently wrapped up, and I'm going to recap the entire card. It was absolutely epic. I think the best card that I've ever seen in my life, stacked from bottom all the way up to the top. And I can't wait to talk about everything. If you notice, I don't have the beard, and it's because I pay my debts. I keep my word. I had a bet with the people on the lock, and it lost, so I had to shave it on the damn live stream. There's the beard. If you want to check that out, it's in my most recent fight companion video for UFC 300. Make sure you guys smash the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. I want to recap this entire thing. We got a ton of fights to talk about, so let's jump right into it. First fight on the card was Deiveson Figueiredo and Cody Garbrandt. And for a little bit of time, I think everybody thought, oh, Cody might have a chance. He could touch him on the feet. But he couldn't stop the grappling. Deiveson Figueiredo taps out Cody No Love. I was impressed by that. The fact that he was able to strangle Cody Garbrandt. And Cody Garbrandt is not an easy guy to bully on the ground. He comes from a wrestling base, trained at Team Alpha Male for a long time, not known to get taken down and worked. Figueiredo winning by submission, I thought was very impressive. And it was a different method, right? Like, okay, if you would have caught Cody with a clean shot, well, Cody's chinny. But the fact that he beat Cody Garbrandt in an area where we really hadn't seen him before in a bad position. Like, I don't remember Cody Garbrandt getting taken down and bullied ever. And that's what happened here. He got taken down, bullied, and submitted in the second round. Was controlled for a lot of the fight. Cody No Love's tough as they fucking come. He just doesn't have the greatest chin maybe at this point. But that wasn't the issue here. The grappling defense was. And Deiveson Figueiredo was way too slick with the jiu-jitsu, and he tapped out Cody No Love. Quick tap. Cody was out. I think this ends any hype of the bullshit I be hearing of Cody Garbrandt's back. Maybe he's making a title run. Yada dee, yada do, yada da. I know a lot of people have different opinions. I get it. Cody Garbrandt's got some fans. He's a savage. But Deiveson Figueiredo was the better fighter, and that's why he won the fight. And I thought that he would, so he pulled it off. I was happy about it. Next fight on the card, it was between Bobby Green and Jim Miller. This was a damn banger on the prelims. Holy hell. Starting the card off with, you know, a one-sided fight. And not that it was not entertaining. It was a finish by Figueiredo, but it wasn't a war like this. These guys brought it. Now, granted, Bobby Green was doing the vast majority of the damage. Did get stung in the first round, but he was destroying Jim Miller's face. And at the end of it, Jim Miller looked like he was, you know, I don't know, out of a damn horror scene in one of those damn killer movies. Face is leaking blood, eye is shut. He can't see a damn thing. Bobby Green outstruck the hell out of him. Touched him up with a ton of shots and rocked him on multiple occasions. Bobby Green got a clear W here. It was a good performance, and it keeps Bobby Green in the mix. Right after the fight, Bobby Green called for Paddy Pimblett, and I thought that was genius. Eventually, Paddy's going to have to fight somebody in the rankings. Bobby Green is like number 14, number 15. I think that would be the perfect first fight in the rankings because let's be real. Bobby Green has some vulnerabilities in striking. We've seen him knocked out. And on the ground, maybe somebody to the level of Paddy Pimblett could find a sub off on Bobby Green. We saw him get dominated on the ground, granted against Makhachev. But Bobby can get taken down and worked. I like the Paddy Pimblett fight a lot. I think it makes a lot of sense. He's down to do it in England. We have to book it. Why wouldn't we? Now for Jim Miller, it ends the streak from 100 to 200 and now 300 as far as all wins. But gutsy as always, Jim Miller is a legend of the UFC. Might not be the greatest of all time, but one of the most savage ever and definitely one of the toughest dudes to ever walk this earth. So respect to Jim Miller, even in loss. Great performance. And at the very end, it looked like Bobby Green might have been able to knock him out as he dropped him, but he chose to throw some ground and pound strikes instead of letting him back up. Domination, destruction, Bobby Green. Andrade and Marina Rodriguez, you know what? I didn't feel like this was a bad decision. I thought it was pretty close. Both girls were mixing it up well, but Andrade was landing the bigger shots, and my goodness, Marina Rodriguez can't figure out jiu-jitsu. The grappling skill set is just mediocre. She falls to her back in the first round. Andrade gets some work from top. Andrade able to take her down in the second. Third round, it looks like Marina Rodriguez might be, you know, pulling this one out. I'm thinking, okay, she's got a chance. And then Jessica Andrade is able to touch her with some good punches, and it just shifted the fight. I mean, I'll be honest, this fight was a long time ago. I was streaming for damn near 8 hours. This was in the first hour. so maybe it's a little blurrier than the rest. But I remember Jessica Andrade in the third round looking like she had slowed down, and it seemed like Marina had it. But at the very end, Andrade is the one that brought more heat. And Andrade is the one that I thought deserved the decision. Now, split decision, close fight. This is not Jessica Andrade going to be fighting for the title, Andrade. That's not the same Andrade. Let's be honest here. But she still got some fight left in her. She beat Marina Rodriguez in a hard 3-round fight. And overall, I can't really say too many bad things about it. I think it was a good performance by Andrade. In a close fight, split decision, fair, but definitely the right person won. It wasn't Rodriguez's fight. Next fight on the card, we got Money Moicano, Jalin Turner. Money Moicano, motherfucker, I'm drinking beers in Brazil, and now strangling Jalin Turner, motherfucker. I cannot afford to lose, brother. I like Renato Moicano a lot. I picked against him, and I hope that he saw it and he was pissed off. I wish he would have called me out for picking against him, but I didn't. I didn't get the call out. It's all good. Money Moicano was a savage on the mic. I love that he's Mr. USA. He's all about the freedoms, bro, so I'm a big fan. I'm a big Money Moicano fan. Jalin Turner had him out in the first round, though, and chose not to follow up. He thinks that he's Mark Hunt. He's doing a walk-off KO. This is not the time. Jalin, jump on him, ground and pound, you probably get a win. Instead, Money Moicano comes back and beats the shit out of Jalin Turner from top position. Turner could not stop the takedowns from the body lock. Money Moicano's relentless, man. Takes a clean punch, might go down, but he's going to get the fuck back up. You better beat his face in. Instead, Jalin Turner wants to play it on the safe side. What the fuck are we doing? Insane. Money Moicano with a sick comeback knockout, a finish, and something to be excited about. I'm hyped for the next Money Moicano fight. I don't know who it's going to be. No, it ain't going to be Patty. Patty ain't fighting Money Moicano coming off a destruction of Jalin. I don't think he wants to smoke. Because I feel like on the ground, Moicano will bully Patty Pimblett. I think Moicano's fighting up. I don't know the opponent. We'll talk about it maybe, tomorrow. But right now, big name. Something big. Got to pop out the Zin, man. It's burning me. Next fight on the card, Diego Lopes, Sodiq Yusuff. I told you guys how this fight would go if there was street fighting back in 8th grade. Emo street fight type of thing. Diego Lopes is a fucking monster. Lopes destroyed Sodiq Yusuff inside, dropped him with an uppercut, hit him to the body, hit him to the chin. Down goes Yusuff. He dropped him twice in the clinch early in the fight and got a first-round knockout. And I think it's hard to deny that Diego Lopes has that thing. And he could be a potential champion in the UFC. 29 years old, on a damn roll right now. Debut against Movsar Evloev and you go 3 rounds and almost win the fight? Damn. He's gotten better since then for sure. If I'm Movsar, I don't want that rematch. And Diego called him out after. Movsar don't want to fight him again. On a full camp, Diego Lopes is beating Movsar Evloev. Evloev's undefeated, but he's overrated. He's good. He's really good. But Diego Lopes, I think, would beat him. They're not going to do that fight next. He called for it. I respect it. But they're not going to do it next. He mentioned Topuria as well. Of course he wants to be in the mix for a title shot. Imagine we gave him Aljo. We'll talk the Aljo fight in a little bit. We go Aljo. We sacrifice Aljamain. We give him Diego Lopes. Lopes looked fucking incredible, man. Sick knockout. He beat the Disney superstar in Sodiq Yusuff. Next fight on the card, Kayla Harrison, Holly Holm. Holly Holm fought stupid. And that's the honest way to tell you about how she fought. I can sugarcoat it and say she was gutsy. She was tough shooting a takedown on Kayla. She needed to strike from distance. Instead, she's trying to grapple with Kayla Harrison in the clinch for what? Bragging rights? Okay, you get her down once. Then she gets smoked in the second round. Smoked. Choked out, but she was getting ground and pounded up too in the first. Kayla Harrison's a savage. At 135, you might as well hand the belt over, Raquel, because Kayla Harrison is kicking through that fucking door and looking to kill. Kayla Harrison's going to win the belt. I'm telling you right now. Kayla Harrison is the next UFC bantamweight champion. And God, we needed her because the bantamweight division is dying right now. And she has brought some much needed life back to it. Destroys Holly Holm. And now I think destroys Raquel Pennington. Amanda Nunes, let's do it again. And that fight would be fucking mega for the division. So let's hope so. Holly Holm, it's fair to say she should probably retire. I don't know if she will, but she's out of the title picture. If it wasn't for Kayla Harrison, She's got 2 wins over Raquel. She could win that fight a 3rd time. But who the fuck wants to see it? Nobody, to be honest. We want to see Kayla Harrison. So we're going Kayla Harrison title shot next. Good win. The judo's fucking incredible. The takedowns are there. The strength is insane. Elbows on Kayla Harrison, goddamn. She would have never lost to Larissa Pacheco with elbows. I'll tell you that. She would have knocked her out twice, 3 times. She would have beat her that 3rd time. Aljamain Sterling, Calvin Kattar. I'm just fucking around. I'm not stuttering. I'm trolling Aljamain a little bit. Listen, wrestling is very strong. His grappling game is solid. He made Calvin Kattar look like he had never fucking wrestled before. Aljamain was dominant in positions with grappling. He was able to absolutely dispatch of Calvin Kattar. And what else can you ask for? I would say a finish, because Aljo can turn it on. He's better than he shows. At the end, he picks up Calvin. Looks like a street fight. He slams him on his head. He does some ground and pound work. But for the majority of the time, he's just controlling from top position. And he's honestly put me to sleep more than like a fucking Tempur-Pedic mattress. I need Aljamain Sterling to finish some fucking fights, man. Hard to get excited about Aljo. I need to reach for this damn water. Excuse my reach. Taking a sip. This is what Aljamain does to me. I hope he improves somehow in his finishing ability, because the skills are there. He's a great wrestler. Like I said, give him Diego Lopes. We'll feed him Lopes. Feed him to Lopes. The dog's coming to eat. I don't know. They might move him up more than that. He is a former bantamweight champ, and he was arguably the greatest bantamweight of all time at one point. Maybe, I don't know. Calvin Kattar got dominated. Good performance by Aljamain Sterling. Not a fight that got me excited. I'm not going to rewatch that one unless I have to, which eventually I probably will, but I'm not going to be excited to. But still a dominant win nonetheless. In a featherweight debut against a legit size featherweight who was known for great takedown defense. He exploited the hole. Next fight on the card, Jiří Procházka, Alexander Rakic. This is the fight that cost me the beard. This fight caused this. I have Rakic as the lock, and I bet my beard on it for the people, because I said, you know what, for 300, I'm doing something crazy. I recognized it was a scary fight, but you saw Rakic chopping at kicks and doing well from the outside, but damn, Jiří Procházka is just too savage, and he hits too hard. Stops Alexander Rakic. Hit him with some good punches in the first, but put him down, out. Finished him off with ground and pound in the second. Rakic was on absolutely wobbly legs. He was on queer street to Maine. I'm keeping that damn phrase alive. He's still in the mix. He called to be in the title picture. He's not getting a title shot right away. But Jiří Procházka is a guy that is in major fights always. I want the Jan Blachowicz fight. That's what I want next. That would be an absolutely dope matchup. For Rakic, getting knocked out like this, bad, man. Out of the title picture. Sends him back a ways. Like, I know it's losing to Procházka, who's a savage, a fan favorite, an absolute stud. But this is like the fight before the number one contender fight, or even potentially a number one contender fight if you're impressive, and he lost. He sent back a ways. Procházka looked good, man. Procházka took some big shots. He gets hit a lot, but damn, he's durable. Good shit by Jiří Procházka. Respect. Respect. I'll take that beard clean shaven. I did it for the fucking samurai, bro. I'm telling you. I did it for the samurai. Respect to it. Great featured prelim of the night. Next fight was our main card opener, Bo Nickal, Cody Brundage, and we saw Bo Nickal look human. Cody Brundage was awkward for him in the first round. Cody Brundage was able to stop some takedowns. Bro, Bo Nickal's only got now 6 MMA fights, and he did finish Cody Brundage. He didn't get dropped. Big looping shot by Brundage kind of landed, but it was over-exaggerated. It didn't land that flush. It's just because Bo Nickal was, kind of out of position at points, and it's like, yo, the dude's got no potential now. Jump off the ship. Listen, I never thought that he could fight against Khamzat right now. People that believed that I thought were stupid. I never thought that he could fight for a belt right now and be successful. He couldn't. But I'll tell you, in 2 to 3 years, Bo Nickal becomes a contender. He's a developing prospect. He's 28 years of age, still very young, 6-0 as a pro. He finished Cody Brundage, which was good. He dealt with some adversity, but still was super consistent, landing takedowns and out-grappled the hell out of him. Yeah, his stand-up's not that great. Of course not. Did you guys think it was? Did some of you guys think that he was a good boxer? He's the developing fighter. Time to marinate Bo Nickal. And I'm telling you guys, Bo Nickal has a lot of upside potential, and that's why the UFC is backing him. But it's not for him to become champion this year. It's not going to happen. He'll lose if they do that. He said Kopilov's name. He said Fluffy Hernandez's. I think we got to take a second. I don't know if he deserves that one because Cody Brundage gave him a difficult fight. But the wrestling's very legit. The grappling's very legit. And I look forward to more with Bo Nickal. Rear naked strangle. Brundage fought out of some submissions, though. It wasn't easy for Bo. Next fight was Arman Tsarukyan and Charles Oliveira. Damn, this fight was close. Was it a robbery, though? Did it deserve to be a split? It all becomes how you judge fights. So, first round, I thought was Charles Oliveira's probably. He did finish with a submission attempt at the very end, even though Tsarukyan was on top. But he had great dominating control. He was in full mount. He had the back of Tsarukyan early in that first round. Second round, some strikes landed. I believe that's the round he landed a good straight right. But Tsarukyan did a lot of damage from top position there. He beat him up. He busted him up. Third round, more control and work from Arman Tsarukyan, and he did win, I believe, the majority of the third round. It looked like Charles Oliveira had slowed down a bit, and Tsarukyan was outpacing him. But Oliveira finishes the fight with a locked-in Darce choke. Interesting situation. A lot of guys would have probably been out. If it would have been another 30 seconds, maybe he taps him. In the first round, he almost had the guillotine as well. That's why he fell to his back. He had Arman Tsarukyan locked in a guillotine. And then he ended up getting on top of him. Was unable to get it. Tsarukyan's submission defense is absolutely crazy. But 3 very close submission attempts in the fight. But ultimately, was that triangle armbar actually in the second round? I think I'm misremembering. I think that was in the second, not the first. But it might have been the first. I was on for a long time. I'm remembering majority of the fight, though. What we saw is Arman Tsarukyan is very legit. He's a skilled fighter. I think he did deserve the win, even though he finished rounds and specifically the fight in a vulnerable spot. I don't think you give Oliveira the win purely based off that. He ran out of time, and Tsarukyan was the rightful winner of the fight. Now, he's not going to be fighting for the belt. If you don't know, well, I guess I'm telling you right now. I'll have a segment at the end to kind of break the news, but Islam Makhachev's fighting Dustin Poirier, so Tsarukyan ain't getting that unless it's in the fall, if Makhachev wants to fight in the fall. Because Makhachev is fighting June 1st against Poirier. But I do think Arman Tsarukyan has put himself into the position to be the number 1 contender. It's just people aren't going to be jumping up and down for that. So maybe a Mateusz Gamrot rematch to solidify your number 1 contender status. I know the name value isn't huge, but it might have to happen. Go to the next fight. Fight of the year. Fight of the night. Absolutely amazing. I need a sip of water before we get into this one. Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje put on a fight to fucking remember. Oh my God. It was epic. Max Holloway outstruck Justin Gaethje and he shut down the leg kicks. I predicted Max Holloway. And I thought him shutting down the leg kicks is the key to his success in the fight. And for the most part, he did. Granted, his leg was beat up a bit. In the 5th and final round, Max Holloway is already up. He's up, 3 3/4 round to 1. Like there's 10 seconds left. Max Holloway points down and says, let's exchange. And they start slugging in the center. Overhand lands. Max Holloway sends Justin Gaethje flat on his fucking face. One of the meanest knockouts I've ever seen. Max Holloway looked epic at 155. Max Holloway put on the best performance, I think, of his whole UFC career. I think he looked better than ever. Sparring Max Holloway is necessary. He's a different level now. Gaethje, what did he have success in? The 4th round? That's it. I had round 1, 2, 3, and 5 up until the knockout for Max Holloway. But we didn't need the scorecards. Doesn't matter. Gaethje got shut down by the better boxing. Holy shit, Max Holloway looked good. And all of you should be very excited for what's next. Now, he called out Ilia Topuria after. He wants to go back down to 45. It's a log jam at 155 now because Dustin Poirier is fighting for the belt against Islam Makhachev. But I would not have been opposed to a Max Holloway title fight against Islam either. Instead, though, they're going to do Max Holloway versus Ilia Topuria. I think that makes more sense than the Volk fight. The stylistic clash is very interesting. And Max Holloway, outside of Volkanovski, #1 guy at featherweight for years. And I think we have to find out. And Ilia Topuria, the video, what do we call it? The fucking camera panned to him after the fight, and he didn't look excited about fighting Max Holloway, I'll tell you right now. Because I think he realizes that is a horrible matchup. And I think that Max Holloway is a way tougher fight for Ilia than Volkanovski. And I think this version of Max beats the version of Ilia that fought against Volkanovski, or the version of Volkanovski that fought Ilia. Max Holloway looks incredible. At 32, he looks epic. He looks epic, man. Flatline Gaethje. Gaethje needs some serious time off after that loss. Next fight was the weirdest co-main event of all time. Weili, Zhang, Xiaonan. Why is that? Well, let me tell you why. Because Weili had Xiaonan unconscious from a rear naked choke at the end of the first round. I thought the fight would be stopped immediately. Instead, they let her get up. But, like, if the position is different and you have the rear naked choke sitting on your opponent and you get off and they're just flat out on the canvas, they stop the fight. But because she had the back control position, had the rear naked, had her out, and it took her a second to, like, push Jan off of her, who's unconscious, and gave her time to wake up, that allowed her to finish because she could stand, but she was wobbly. I don't know. I thought the fight was over. If you're out cold at the end of a round, I think that the fight stopped. It's not like, you get up like with a 10 count or something. Like if it's boxing. Didn't make any sense. Very strange. But I guess they say it's legal. That's the rules. I never knew that. I'm surprised by that. I don't think that should be. Yan Xiaonan dropped Weili on numerous occasions, and there was moments where it felt like Yan Xiaonan was going to win the fight, and Weili was fading. But thankfully, in the 4th and 5th, Weili was able to be successful with wrestling. It was a huge factor. And the whole fight, her getting it to the ground was a major factor and asset to win the fight. She pulls it off against Yan Xiaonan in a great war. And after the fight, invited Americans to come visit China. It immediately got booed by that. The Vegas crowd didn't like hearing it. This is 8 hours of streaming plus this video that you're hearing in my voice. This is why I'm coughing. I apologize. Weili Zhang is a fucking murderer. I want to see her rematch Rose Namajunas. I want Rose to cut and do a trilogy. I guess not a rematch, a trilogy. I think that makes a lot of sense. Outside of Tatiana Suarez, what else is there for her at 115? We're going to do who? Verna Jendurova? Nah. We're in a weird predicament. If Rose Namajunas can cut the weight, she can have this fight. Weili Zhang put it on Jan, but she was definitely tested and looked human here. She is almost 35. She looked human. From Rose Namajunas, something about taking the fight. Good takedowns by Weili to secure. I thought she won by rear naked in the first round. Next fight on the card, Alex Pereira versus Jamahal Hill. And all it took was one punch from Alex Pereira. Make sure you guys smash the likes if you haven't. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. They start off the fight exchanging low kicks. Jamahal Hill in the southpaw stance. Okay. Clean shots. Leg kick there by Pereira. Hill's coming back with leg kicks. Hill's having a hard time finding Alex Pereira, and you can see Alex Pereira is making reads. And there was a moment right up before the low kick landed, or rather low blow kick landed by Jamahal Hill that then led to the knockout shot by Pereira. You could sense that Pereira was like, okay, this guy doesn't threaten me now. I can put the pressure on him. You felt a shift. He had Jamahal going backwards. Jamahal hits him with this low shot. Pereira pushes off the ref. I'm fine. Comes forward. Dip. Left hook. Down goes Jamahal Hill. It looked like he had never been hit like that in his entire life because he hadn't. And then Pereira's throwing ground and pound shots. Hill's eyes are rolled back in his head. He flies back. Out cold. Vicious. And then the ground and pound from Pereira was savage too. I thought Herb Dean was letting it go way too long. They could have stopped that fight 5 seconds sooner. Jamahal was out as he hit the ground. The extra ground and pound was just unneeded damage. He went out multiple times. I guess because it's a championship fight, they're going to let him go out, out, out. Especially after the Aljamain O'Malley thing. Maybe people complain too much, So they're like, fuck, I'm going to let it go now. But Hill could have got it out sooner. They could have stopped it. They could have stopped it sooner. He took some serious blows. Alex Pereira is one of the scariest fighters that has ever fought. He's already got a Hall of Fame spot locked in. He's a savage. 10-2 as a pro. Kickboxing 2-weight champ. MMA 2-weight champ. Said he plans on defending the belt at light heavyweight, but he teased the fight at heavyweight. I think he wants Tom Aspinall, and why the fuck not? It's more interesting than Tom Aspinall, Curtis Blades. And if he loses, okay, he dared to be great. He's still the light heavyweight champ. It doesn't hurt that. But what happens if he wins? That would be history. John Jones is holding up the division. We're in an unrealistic spot. John Jones is getting priority treatment because he's considered the GOAT, but for fuck's sake, he should have vacated the belt. It should be Tom Aspinall promoted to the lineal champ or the undisputed champ, fighting X person for the real belt, and then John Jones gets a shake at it as soon as he comes back. Because if John Jones is only waiting out for now this undeserved Stipe fight, Stipe is not the number one contender. That's like a BMF fight, but not even. Stipe hasn't fought in like 3+ years, man. What was I don't even remember when the France fight. It was a long time ago. It was at the Apex. It was a long time ago. Alex Pereira should probably be in a super fight versus Tom Aspinall if the UFC is interested in big money business. He mentioned doing it in Brazil in 3 weeks. I don't know the likelihood of that. He took the fight with a broken toe. But if Alex Pereira somehow can pull off turning around and fighting in 3 weeks at that May 4th card, UFC 301, I'm going to shit my pants. And if it's against Tom Aspinall, I'm going to freak out on stream. I fingers cross it that it ends up happening because he wants it. But I don't know for sure if he's going to get it. Either way, Alex Pereira proved to be a monster, and I think better than we even initially thought. Jamahal Hill's a legit striker, and he got killed in one shot. He's getting sent back a while, man. Maybe he fights Rakic. I don't know what's next for Jamahal Hill. It's a rough loss. Alex Pereira looked God tier. He's had that energy all week. I think this version of Alex Pereira is the best version ever. It was an A++ performance. It took one punch. He completely broke down Jamahal Hill in less than 2 minutes and knocked him out with a clean shot, and then ground and pounded his face in. And then he called for a heavyweight fight. The dude's a legacy fighter. How do you not love Alex Pereira? And he capped off 300, the biggest event ever, historic event. It's starting to look like the best move they've ever done. Poetan, Alex Pereira, epic performance, epic win. How the hell could he even top that? Like, that was so sick to me. The power's off the charts. And if I'm a heavyweight and I'm striking with Alex Pereira, shit, I'm not striking with him. I'm shooting takedowns. Tom Aspinall better get it to the ground. So if he strikes with Pereira, he could be flatlined. I'm interested in that fight a lot. Obviously, John Jones, Aspinall should be happening. Pereira should be defending against Magomed Ankalaev, the rightful number one contender. But timelines, big money fights, business opportunities, shit's possible. I want to see Pereira 301. Somehow, some way, UFC, make it happen. I don't know who against. Give me anybody. Give me Khalil Roundtree even. I'll watch. But heavyweight would make more sense because he doesn't want to cut that weight. Now, as far as the picks, all you got to know is I swept the main card. Pereira by knockout, on the money. Weili by decision, on the money. Granted, decision or submission was the official pick. Max Holloway to win, on the money. With the 300K bonus, I knew there was a chance of knockout, but the way that he put out Gaethje, nobody's predicting that. Arman Tsarukyan over Oliveira, I picked it even though I didn't want to. Nickal over Brundage by submission, perfect call. Now, I lost here. This is why my beard got shaved. Rakic with Procházka, that was an L. Kattar with Sterling, that was an L. But I won with Kayla Harrison, won with Diego Lopes. Lost here with Jalin Turner and Moicano. Damn, Moicano looks solid. Jalin sold himself not following up. Lost with Rodriguez and Andrade. Then won with Bobby Green over Jim Miller. Perfect call there by decision. Figueiredo by Garbrandt for the finish. Granted, submission wasn't the official. I thought you'd get a knockout, but still, correct pick. Sick performance. 9 wins, 4 losses for UFC 300, and I went undefeated on the UFC 300 pay-per-view card. Picks-wise, I think I did pretty fucking great, man. I'm hype as hell. That was a 10 out of 10 performance. Really not 10 out of 10, but hey, it was a 9 out of 13 performance. Solid. Solid work. I hope you guys enjoyed the week's worth of content for 300. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to be dropping more UFC 300 content, but we're not done just yet. I want to do a quick news drop at the end of this. I'm planning on doing a separate video for it, but I got to tell you right now. Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler's official. Yeah, you heard it right here. Islam Makhachev versus Dustin Poirier for the belt. You heard it earlier in the video. And in Sean Strickland and Paulo Costa in a top contenders fight that has me interested. Pretty sick fight announcements at the Dana White post-fight press conference after UFC 300. I knew he'd cap it off with something good, but honestly, better than I would have thought. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this full event recap. Much love, my people. Smash the likes. If you're new, subscribe. And hey, thank you all for constantly supporting me. I appreciate each and every one of you. Peace, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.